Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Now today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be installing subwoofers on my Scion FRS. So I'm going to upgrade the music system basically because it's some ass basically. So when the car got in the accident it was in, this radio, if you can see it right there, is shattered. I don't know how, but it's all cracked. So this head unit doesn't work. Like, it turns on but the touchscreen doesn't work. So I'm gonna be removing this one, replacing it with, it's the same stock head unit but it's a new one that actually works. So I'm gonna be doing that, and then I'm gonna be installing subwoofers. So what you're gonna need to install subwoofers basically is the subs, which is right there. You need an amplifier. You need this. This is an AV output converter, and since the back of the head unit doesn't have actual connectors where you can plug in these actual AV cords, you're gonna have to buy this, and you're gonna have to wire it into the head unit. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. You need your power cable, which is right here, and then make sure that on your power cable you have a fuse because it's going to the battery and you don't want it to blow. And you also need a ground cable, and you also need this cable. This cable is the one that is basically gonna tell this thing to turn on when you turn on your car. So I'm gonna show you guys how to mount that. So let's get started. Alright, so sorry if the lighting isn't that good, but it's gonna have to do for now. So we want to start by actually removing this head unit. So I'm gonna go see. I haven't done it before on this car. I've done it on my Scion TC, but I figured it would basically be kind of the same thing, just removing panels and shit. Just have a flat head, and I just put it in here and then pry it apart, and then it just pops out. So the first panel just pops out, and then there's two 10mm bolts right there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove those two. And there's also two more in the bottom, right in the bottom part of the radio, so there's 4 of them. You might need an extension if you're using a drill. Alright, so there you go, and this should come right out. Now, even if you don't have to replace yours like I do, you still have to take the radio out. You still have to take the radio out in order to wire up the AV converter. So this is, either way I have to take it out, but I'm just gonna go ahead and unplug everything just to remove the radio. Alright guys, so once you unconnect all of these connectors, basically you just plug in the new one and bolt it back on, and then I should be good with this head unit. And there we go. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and put the little trim piece back on there. Pop that back in there, and we're good with that. Alright, so now that we have the head unit in, well, I have my head unit in since it was broken, I'm going to show you guys how to connect the, how to wire up the actual subwoofer. So what you're gonna need is this AV line out converter. It's like $5. Not even that expensive. It's like $5. And what this does is it receives signal from your two left speakers. So these two get signal from your two rear speaker, my bad. So these two get it from your left speaker, and these two receive it from your right rear speaker. So what this does is it converts two regular signals into one strong signal for your amplifier. So the good thing about this car is it comes with a factory amplifier, and what that amplifier does right there is it amplifies the front speakers only. So we don't have an amplifier for the back speakers, and that's what we're going to use our amplifier for, because we're going to wire our cables to the back speakers. So I'm going to show you guys how you guys can do that. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and remove this side trim, whatever this is. So it was just a bunch of clips. I just took them out. I pushed that to the side. So basically, because you're trying to get to your back speakers so you can see what color the wires are. That's the only purpose for removing this piece. So the back speaker is actually right here. So what we're gonna have to do is remove this, which it should just all pop out. Would be easier to just take out the back seat and everything, but I don't feel like doing all of that, so I'm just gonna rough it for now. So I'm actually just gonna disconnect it so I can see it. Alright, there we go. So I just went ahead and disconnected it real quick, just so I can see what color they are. So this is the left side. So for the left side, it's purple and blue. So it's purple and blue. So now you may be wondering which one's positive, which one's negative, because it's not black or white. But actually, down here they're purple and blue, but right where it connects, it's kind of hard to get it down here. So at the top part of the connectors, you can actually see that they're black and red. So if blue's on this side and purple's on the other side, that means that the purple is positive and the blue is negative. So we're just gonna keep that in mind. So we can just go ahead and connect that. The positive was purple and the negative was blue. We have to get our output converter, and in this amplifier right here, we can just go ahead and, well, I'm gonna disconnect it. Alright, so what we're gonna have to do is splice the wires together. So this is the amplifier for that. So that means on this, all we have to do is find the purple and the blue wire, which they're both right there. So those are the signal wires for the rear speaker. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove some of this black tape, that way I can splice these wires onto there. And then I'm gonna open up the other side, the right side, and see what color those speaker wires are, and then I'm gonna splice these together. So let me go ahead and do that. Alright guys, so this is what I ended up doing. I traced both speaker wires, the positive and the negative, back to the amplifier, and this is my converter. I just came ahead and spliced them together. So you just got to figure out which one's left and right between these two, and then just connect the positive and negative to the left and right speakers. So for example, both of the white ones are the right, read the right speaker. So the right speakers, the positive was yellow and then the negative was pink, so I spliced those together. And then for the gray ones are the left ones. So for the left speaker, the positive was blue and the negative was purple, so I spliced those together. So now what you want to do is you need to solder these in to protect it against the elements. So I'm just going to go ahead and solder these in and then wrap them up in electrical tape, and then I should be good there. And if you don't know how to solder, what you got to do is buy like a crimper or like a connector or something just to be safe. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Alright guys, so after I connected the left and right speaker wires, the positive and the negatives, on the AV converter, there's a ground cable or a signal wire. It's usually used as a ground, but in this case we're going to use it as a signal wire to power this. So on this connector, there's a light green one. If you don't connect this, it's not gonna work, because I already tried it without it and it doesn't work. On all my other cars I never use this wire and it works, but on this car for some reason it didn't work. So what you want to do is splice these together. So it's this one and then it's the light green one, because there's two of them. There's almost like a light bluish one, there's a dark green and a light green. You want to use the light green. So I went ahead and spliced that already and connected that one. So that's the signal wire for this. I wired them up, so now I'm just gonna wrap them up in electrical tape after I solder them in, so they don't touch each other and give it more protection. Plug them in, and then what I'm gonna do is hide all my wires, figure out where to ground it. We also have to ground our amplifier somewhere. I'm probably just gonna use one of these bolts right here, maybe, or if I could find another one. Alright, so that's the finished product right there. I basically went ahead and soldered all the wires, and then I wrapped them up in electrical black tape. So then you just want to go ahead and your AV converter, just place it somewhere. I'm just going to leave it right there for now. And now the only thing that's left to do is to run all the wires to the amplifier and connect the amplifier to the subwoofer. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We can put this back, honestly. We don't need this out now. Okay, so now that we got all the speaker wires wired in, we want to go ahead and give the amplifier 12 volts. So we need our power wire for that, and we need to attach a fuse to it. Usually amp kits come with fuses. If not, you can pick this up at your local audio store. Just a big one. Mine's made out of glass, and then there's like a fuse in there just to protect it. So what we want to do is go ahead and wire this to the battery. So we can feed it off of the positive, so we can feed it off of here or here. Just make sure it's nice and tight. And okay, so once it's connected to the battery, you just want to run it behind all this other stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and like run it behind all these wires and everything. So the way we're gonna get it inside of the actual car is right here. This is the driver's side of the engine bay. There's like this little grommet right here. There's a little grommet right there, and there's like this little piece right here sticking out. So what we're gonna do is cut the head off of that, and then our wire should fit snug right through it. So I'm just gonna cut that real quick. Alright, so I just used a razor blade, and all I did was cut the head off of it. So I cut the head off of it, and then down there it made a little hole. So now we just want to feed our wire through that. Alright, so look, I just cut the head and then I feed the wire through it, and look how nicely it goes in. And on the inside of the car, our wire is just hanging right here, so all we do is just pull it through. And there you go. So now that it's pulled through all the way, what we want to do is remove the trim that was right here. I already removed it, but we want to remove that, remove this, and remove this other panel right here. So everything just pops out. Everything just pops out, and then you can just hide your wire behind everything. Okay, so once we have it through here, all I did was just run the wire through there, and I actually popped this panel right here a little bit just so I can get the wire through all the way behind it, and then it ended up right here next to the amplifier, the stock amplifier. So then all we do is just pull it through until everything lines up. So right there, everything's good. This thing's right here, so we got that. We wired the speaker wires, the AV converter. We got the 12 volts right here. So now I'm gonna show you guys how to wire everything up to the amplifier and connect the subwoofer, and then we should be done. Alright, so now I was trying to find a ground cable to ground the amplifier. So what I ended up doing was I popped this part. This part was right here. I just popped it off. There was 3 clips on it, and I found that there's already a grounding point right here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove that and then feed my ground off of that one too as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and wire that up, and then I'm gonna teach you guys how to wire everything up in the actual amplifier. Alright, so that's what it looks like after I grounded the amp. So I just removed it and put the ground wire right there for the amplifier. And now let's connect the actual amp. Now every amp is different. This one's a 2 or 4 channel, I'm not sure. But basically it tells you right here what to do with it. This is the positive and negative for the left subwoofer, and then that's the positive and negative for the right one. So you just connect those right there, and then you run those into your actual, those are the one that goes into your actual speakers right there. So I'm gonna do that last. So now first let's connect the AV converter. So you want to grab your AV cables, and now in this car I have X's because it was supposed to run from the head unit, but this one had an amplifier back here that we use, so we have extra, so I just zip tied it right there. And basically what you want to do is right here, make sure you connect it to the one that says input. These 2 are input and then these 2 are output. You want to make sure you connect it to the input one. And then connect the other end to your actual AV converter, red to red, and then connect the white to the black one. Okay, so now there should be 3 other ones left. We have the remote connection right here, the 12 volt connection, and the ground. So it's pretty self-explanatory. You connect the ground right here, the one that we ran from the battery, the 12 volts right here, and then the signal wire from the amplifier right here, which is the small blue one for me. So let me connect that and clean this up.